Welcome to Navajo County Connection. I'm Steve Williams, Navajo County Board of Supervisor from District 4. As summer rapidly approaches, the school year begins to wind down and classrooms are replaced with parks and activities for the summer. As fun as that can be, it can leave less time to focus on reading. To help combat that, Navajo County will be celebrating Get Caught Reading Month throughout the month of May to help keep reading and education active during the summer. Our first guest today is Navajo County Superintendent of Schools, Jayln Gerlich. Jayln, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
What can you tell us about the Get Caught Reading Month, and maybe more importantly, why is it so important to keep our kids involved in educational activities during the summer?
Get Caught Reading Month is just encapsulating that whole idea of students to encourage that reading, to keep it going, and to build that bridge from the end of the school year into summer. Some activities that parents can have them do is follow their passion. If a student is interested in rockets, have them read about rockets. If students are interested in elk, have them read about elk. And so the whole idea of looking at education as a lifelong piece and develop that passion and keep it going.
That's great. Now, the Get Caught Reading Month itself, is there certain activities surrounding that?
You know, I think that the library system is the best place to go to encourage the Get Caught Reading Month piece. Yeah.
Great. Jayln, how as parents can we help our children keep interested in reading?
Well, read with your children. Have them write the grocery list. Have them be engaged in any kind of activity that they are interested in and follow it up with reading. Get them a library card. If there's siblings in the family, have them read to the siblings. Just encourage that you're reading and then they're reading. It's all about that whole encompassing world of reading, so it's everywhere.
Well, you know, those are good suggestions. I'm thinking about the grocery list, and I'm not sure my wife would trust my kids to write out a grocery list, but
and that's fine. She can dictate and they write it.
There you go.
Good readers are good writers.
There you go. Now one of my children is a preschooler. Mm-hmm. She's 4. What advice would you give to parents on helping preschoolers develop reading skills? Well,
research shows read to them at least 15 minutes a day. That small amount of time makes a difference. The talk, having them look at things and talk about them, but the read, and you start with 15 minutes and most people can't keep it at 15 minutes. And while they're sitting there, say, oh, what's going to happen on the next page? What do you think is going to happen? Well, why do you think he thought that way? What do you think motivates them? Asking all those questions is so important.
Jayln, I know there's several events this summer that will help keep children engaged in learning. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about some of those events?
Well, there's quite a few things. The library has an awesome reading program all throughout the county. They're all gearing up for those events. I actually had to write a list. A lot of local schools have events that go on. The White Mountain Nature Center has events throughout the summer. Petrified Forest has a lot of events for educational base. They'll go on guided walks, which is fascinating because they've done some new discoveries at the forest. Looking at Parks and Rec, having kids follow their passion. NPC Kids College is a wonderful avenue of having kids look at extending their learning. They are treated like a college student. And I'm just going to remind that if your child was a 4th through 8th grader and participated in the regional science fair, they have that voucher, use it. It's worth money for STEM kits. And so it's just a very busy time, and having kids learn that learning is everywhere.
So the NPC Kids College, I've heard of it, but I don't know a lot about it. What are the ages of kids that can participate in that?
My understanding is it's pretty much kindergarten through 12th grade. There's a variety of interests. It's taught by educators and people in the community who are teaching items that they're passionate about. They have a grant that they have STEM kits, and teachers are using those, and what's exciting is now schools can check those out during the school year and continue that.
That's great. So there's lots of activities that people can get involved in.
Absolutely.
To keep the education going. So if our viewers want to learn more about, for example, the county reading programs, where can they go to learn more?
Go to your local library. It is the first place I would go, and walk in and just start looking around to see. If you haven't been in a library in a while, you'll be fascinated. They're not the same old library from 10 years ago. They have really expanded what they do and what they offer, and they have a variety of programs to encourage all types of learning, computer classes, looking at how to encourage kids reading, the reading story times for preschoolers up through the older kids, and just having that camaraderie in the social event is also important for kids to meet other readers.
And we've got some great libraries throughout our county here.
Absolutely.
Run by wonderful volunteers. Jayln, anything else you'd add?
Well, my whole thought process for summer is keep it going. It doesn't have to stop in a classroom. It's a wonderful time. Don't think you need to have a worksheet to have learning happen. In fact, put those away. Have children engage in learning in which they like kites. Well, let's build a kite, read about kites. What's the history of kites? Everything around it. Have them get excited about those things and follow their passions, like I said before. And that's the time. Some parents think we need to have them keep doing flashcards and worksheets. On the contrary, this is the time to have them get excited about those things. I've never seen anyone get too excited about a worksheet lately, but they do get excited about building something and following up with more activity.
Jayln, for those viewers that have preschool-age children, what are some things they can do to help encourage and develop reading skills in them?
First off, I would ask that the parents are at least reading 15 minutes a day with them. Have them sit in your lap, have them sit beside you, look at the story, look at the words, point to the words as you go through that whole piece, asking questions as you go along, and asking them, which book do you want? And then take them to the library. They're not too young to pick out their own books. They can start getting an interest in having ownership of their reading. If there's older children in the home, have them read to them also. What we're working for is fluency, and that reading is something that isn't just something that's done to them, that they see everyone reading in the home. I'm going to see mom and dad reading. I'm going to see my older brother reading. I'm seeing everyone looking and engaging in this activity. It's really important to follow up so that they see those role models. And if you have an older sibling in the home who's not quite so good at reading or not confident, it's a great confidence booster to have them read to that preschooler. Encourage the words. Oh, look at that word. What do you think it means? Let's listen to it. Just the sound of words can be like poetry, and keep it going. So the poetry piece, have them read poetry. Most people don't think to read poetry to young children, but do. That's how they learn that whole lyrical sound of words and the love and passion of literature overall.
I appreciated you touching on the point of example and the power of example. When children see their older siblings or parents doing it, it makes them want to do it as well. I know one of the highlights in the Williams family home each night for our kids, and our youngest is a 4-year-old, is there has to be a story read each night or she can't go to sleep. That's part of the routine. So it's fun to watch her pick out the stories, and sometimes we'll read it or sometimes her older siblings will read it. But that's important to do on a regular basis.
Absolutely, and don't be discouraged because it's the same book over and over and over again. They are learning that print, the sound, that this means something. This printed word means something, because otherwise it just appears as chicken scratch to them. So they start developing that connection, and that's so important, that repetition. You will have it memorized. They may have it memorized. That's okay. That's all part of the process of reading.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good advice. Thank you for being here with us today. When we come back, we'll be joined by members of the Sholo and Heber-Overgaard Chambers of Commerce to talk about summer events that are happening in the coming months. Welcome back to Navajo County Connection. Joining me now are two of my good friends, Jimmy Applegate from the Show Low Chamber of Commerce and June Call from the Heber-Overgaard Chamber of Commerce. Jimmy and June, thank you for being here.
You bet. Thanks for having us.
Jimmy, let's start with you. Would you tell our viewers a little bit of your background, how long you've been with the Chamber, and what your role is?
Background, I'll not go too far back, but I've been in business development most of my life and have worked with the Chamber now since January 5th of last year, so a little over a year and a half. Great job. Good.
And your role?
My role, I'm the executive director so I'm the manager of the Chamber.
Great, thank you, Jimmy.
You bet.
June, same questions.
I'm a real estate broker. I've been in real estate for 29 years. We've been in Heber-Overgaard since 2006, and I am president of the Chamber, and I've been involved with the Chamber for the last 10 years.
Well, I know you both well and have watched you, and both of you, I tip my hat to you. You do a great job. So let's talk about some of the events that are coming up in our communities. Jimmy, let's start with you. What are some of the big events this summer in Show Low?
The biggest three events that we have this year, well, two of them every year. Of course, 4th of July is a huge hit, and Show Low Days is one of the biggest events in the White Mountains and certainly in Show Low for the year. And then we also have a Chamber event called Family Fun Frenzy, where the Chamber does an activity for members of the Chamber. So we have those throughout the summer. It'll be a fun, busy summer.
So when are each, obviously the 4th of July event is over the 4th of July.
Show Low Days is always the first weekend in June. So this year, June 3, 4, and 5, which is Friday afternoon, Saturday all day, and Sunday morning. And first weekend in June. So we'll take over the city park and run multiple activities and events throughout that time.
That's great. So of those events, is there one in particular that you're looking forward to?
The day after Show Low Days. It's a lot to put on, and that's the funnest event for the year. So certainly Show Low Days.
That's great.
Yeah.
June, tell us about some of the events coming up in Heber-Overgaard.
Well, this year we're going to do something a little different because we have just remodeled our Chamber office. So on May 28th, we're going to have a grand reopening of the new remodeled office. We're going to be selling a lot more inventory like souvenirs, t-shirts, and that type of thing that we haven't been able to do before. And then, of course, our big event is 4th of July, which actually starts on the 1st. And we do a patriotic program that Friday night. And then our fireworks and our parade, and the main event is on Saturday, but it runs Saturday, Sunday, and Monday as well for our 4th of July. We average about 20 to 25,000 people that weekend in little over Heber-Overgaard.
That's great. And the thing that's nice, so the Heber 4th of July events, Heber-Overgaard, is the Saturday, the weekend before the 4th of July.
Yes.
And then Show Low is on the 4th of July, which is a Monday.
Right, exactly.
Which is nice. So people are able to attend both.
Sure.
If they'd like to.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So if people would like to get involved in any of these activities through the Chamber, Jimmy, how do they do that in Show Low?
They can contact me direct at the Chamber, 928-537-2326. Or Show Low Chamber or Show Low Days website, which is www.showlowdays.com, and they can find the numbers for the different activities, events on that, and contact the different heads of state for the different events, and volunteer or participate with those. So there's a lot of ways.
Great. And June and Heber-Overgaard?
They can contact me personally, 480-577-4218. They can also go to our website. We also are on Facebook. We have a lot of followers on Facebook, and they can go stop by our office. We're located at 2774 Highway 260, and talk with Jennifer. She's our office manager, and to get signed up. We do need a lot of volunteers to put these events on.
That's great. Anything else you'd like to add?
Come on out to Show Low Days. A lot going on. Let me just touch on real quick, if I could, some of the highlights. Show Low Days, like I said, is a big event all by itself. We take over the city park, but during that time, we also have many events going on. The Rim Country Cruisers car show is that day. Virgo Gillespie Rodeo is that day at the rodeo grounds. We have Itty Bitty Olympics going on that day. Of course, the famed Derby Down the Deuce. This is actually the 5th year for the Derby Down the Deuce. A Saturday morning is that same weekend, so there's a lot going on. We have great bands coming coming in. Mogollon's coming in again. Watkins Band's coming in. We've contracted with the Prescott Regulators this year for them to come in, and they'll do reenactments throughout each of the days during Sholo Days. And somewhere in there, I imagine we'll see a reenactment of how the town was founded, the story of the playing of the cards for Sholo. And anyway, it'll be a great weekend. So come on, I invite everybody to come on out.
I think there was one key event you skipped over. Isn't there a wiener dog race?
There's a wiener dog, that's right. We started that last year, and this year we're jockeying times around so we don't overlap them, but wiener dog races again this year, which is just a hoot, man. Little short dogs racing down the thing, and it makes you laugh. I think they're going to dress them up this year too, and anyway.
It's worth coming
It's
just
worth
for that.
it. Yeah, heck yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
June, anything else that you would add?
Yes, on our 4th of July weekend, on that Saturday morning, we have what we call our wake-up call in Heber-Overgaard. We have an hour starting at 5 o'clock in the morning that we shoot anvil. We have anvil shoots throughout the community, so everybody is awake for our 4th of July. At 6 o'clock, our starting gun for the Carissa's run is actually an anvil shoot for both the run and the walk. And then we go into our parade, which we have a magnificent parade. Always entertaining. People love to come up to be in the parade. We have a water zone or a wet zone. We have vendors at the park. We have a band. Siringo plays Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Mogollon plays right before the fireworks, which is on Saturday evening.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. Everybody should come and see it.
Good band.
Well, I'm looking forward to participating in both of these activities coming up. Thank you again for joining us today, and we appreciate all that you do for our communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you for joining us. Again, I'm Steve Williams from the Navajo County Board of Supervisors, and we'll see you next time.